If you're pricing your AI automation services based on hours worked, you're literally leaving tens of thousands of dollars on the table. I'm going to show you the exact pricing framework that I use to land $6,000 projects and $5,000 retainers instead of getting stuck at $100 an hour. I help builders and freelancers transition to AI consultants who land four-figure clients and retainers. And I've earned over $100,000 in the last 10 months using what I'm about to show you. We're going to cover the 3 pricing models that actually work, how to calculate value-based pricing, and how to justify these prices for a client that may have never paid more than $500 for anything. And I'll reveal the counterintuitive reason that charging more actually makes clients trust you more and not less. If you want to land your first or next AI client, you can take part in the 4-week challenge inside of my free school community of like-minded people, where you'll find a free course that's honestly better than most paid courses out there, and you'll get direct one-on-one access to me for whatever questions you may have. The link is down in the description below. But first, let me tell you why hourly pricing will kill your potential. Let's dive in. So here's the brutal truth. When you price by the hour, you're training clients to see you as expensive labor instead of as a strategic partner. It's like a doctor charging you $100 for a surgery because he was able to complete it in 1 hour. That doesn't take into account the 8 years he spent in medical school that enabled him to be able to perform that surgery in an hour. When you say 20 hours at $100 an hour equals $2,000, you're making them focus on time spent instead of value delivered. You're literally positioning yourself as the person that gets paid to click buttons and not the person that's about to add $100,000 to their revenue. And here's what happens in real conversations when you price hourly. The client says, "So how long will this take?" And you say, "Probably 20 to 25 hours. They immediately start calculating in their head, that's $2,500. Seems like a lot to pay for something that could be done in about a day's work. And now you're in a defensive position. You start explaining, well, I'm not just clicking buttons, there's strategy involved. I have to research your industry, build custom prompts, test everything. And they're thinking, yeah, it's still just 20 hours. So you've already lost because you framed yourself as an hourly worker. And now they're comparing you to their nephew who knows computers and would probably do it for $500. And here's what happens. They start micromanaging your time. Why did that take 4 hours? My nephew could probably do it faster. So you end up in this defensive position where you're justifying every minute worked instead of worrying about delivering business outcomes. I learned this the hard way. Early on, I quoted a client at $100 an hour for workflow automation. They hired me and then spent the entire project questioning everything. This should only take an hour, right? Why are you charging me for research time? Can you just build it faster? That project should have paid me $3,000 and ended up paying me $1,800 because I felt pressured to underestimate the hours spent on the project to keep them happy. And they still weren't satisfied because they kept thinking, I'm paying somebody $100 an hour to automate something. Shouldn't it be automated faster? And that's when I realized hourly pricing creates an adversarial relationship. You want to charge for the real time that things take, and they want you to work faster and charge less, so nobody wins. So if hourly pricing is the problem, what's the solution? Let me show you the 3 pricing models that I actually use with my clients. The first model is value-based project pricing, and I use something I call the 20% rule. So here's how it works. Instead of pricing based on your time, you price based on the measurable business impact that you're delivering. But before I show you examples, let me give you the formula for calculating this, because most people overcomplicate it. Step 1, identify the measurable outcome that your system will deliver. More revenue, more leads, time saved, cost reduced. Step 2 is quantify that impact in dollars per month or dollars per year. Step 3, charge 10 to 20% of the first year's value, depending on complexity and your confidence level. Position this as you keep 80 to 90% of the value, and I take 10 to 20% for making it happen. So let me show you a real example. I built an AI voice agent for a home service client. Their current lead response rate was 20%, meaning 80% of leads were being ignored or being responded to way too late. With the AI system, we took that to an 80% response rate, and each deal that they close averages $4,000. So let's do the math. If they get 10 leads per month, they were closing 2 deals for $8,000 in monthly revenue. With the new system, they're closing 8 deals per month at $32,000 in revenue. That's an additional $240,000 per year. And my price for this project, $8,000. That's just a quarter of 1 month's revenue, and everything after that is just ROI for the business. When you frame it like this, $8,000 doesn't seem expensive. It sounds like the bargain of a lifetime. And here's how that conversation actually went. I didn't lead with the price, I led with the diagnosis. So you're getting about 10 leads per month, but you're only closing 2 of them because the other 8 aren't being responded to in time or just are slipping through the cracks. Is that accurate? Yeah, exactly. We're just too busy to respond to everyone immediately. Okay, and each closed deal is worth about $4,000? Right. So that means you're currently leaving about $32,000 a month on the table because leads aren't being responded to fast enough. Does that number surprise you? Holy crap, I've never thought of it like that before. So if I could build you a system that responds to every lead within 60 seconds, qualifies them, and routes the hot ones directly to your team, what would that be worth to you? At this point, they're not thinking about my time or hourly rate. They're thinking about $240,000 in annual revenue that they're losing out on. When I said the project would be $8,000, they didn't even blink because I had already established that the value was 4 times that every single month. That's value-based pricing. You're not selling your time, you're selling recovered revenue. Now, one-time projects are great, but what's even better is when the same client pays you every single month. And that's where subscription and retainer pricing comes in. For direct revenue generating systems like that AI voice agent, I typically charge about $1,000 a month for ongoing management and optimization. Now, $1,000 a month sounds expensive until you realize they're gaining an extra $240,000 annually that they wouldn't have had before. So it's a no-brainer. But let me break down exactly what that $1,000 a month actually includes. Because if you just say monthly retainer, clients will push back. You need to itemize the value. So this $1,000 monthly retainer includes platform monitoring to ensure 99.9% uptime, monthly optimization based on call data and conversion patterns, prompt refinement as your market or messaging changes, priority support in case anything needs adjustment, and monthly performance reports that show you exactly how many leads were contacted, qualified, and converted. You're essentially getting a full-time AI system manager for the cost of 1 deal per month. When you frame it like that, $1,000 per month isn't even a cost. It's insurance that their $240,000 in revenue continues to flow. For time-saving systems, I use a lower percentage because the value is more indirect. If I build a system that saves somebody 20 hours a week and their time is worth $200 an hour, that's $4,000 monthly in time savings. I might charge $500 to $800 a month for something like that, around 16% of the value. Here's a real example of a time-saving system that I built. So the client was spending about 15 hours a week manually pulling data from multiple systems, formatting it, and then creating reports for their team. Tedious, soul-crushing work that kept them from doing actual important things like strategizing for their business. I built a system that pulled all of the data automatically, formatted it into a branded template, and then delivered it to their team automatically every Monday morning. 15 hours a week saved. At their billing rate of $250 an hour, that's $3,750 in weekly savings, or about $15,000 a month. I charged $3,000 upfront to build it, and then $600 a month to manage and optimize it. And they were ecstatic because they got 15 hours a week of their life back every week for less than the cost of 1 billable day, 20% of the monthly value for the retainer. And they happily paid it because the ROI was obvious. And sometimes I'll do a hybrid model, setup fee plus monthly retainer. So maybe $3,000 upfront to build the system, then $500 monthly to manage and optimize it. This gives you immediate cash flow plus recurring revenue. The hybrid model is great because it balances both their needs and yours. You get a substantial upfront payment that covers your development time and gives you working capital. And they get a lower monthly commitment than if you would have charged everything as an ongoing retainer. And psychologically, it works beautifully. The upfront fee makes them take it seriously. They've made a real investment. The monthly retainer keeps you engaged and prevents the build it and ghost it scenario that one-time projects can create. And I know what you're thinking. Lindsay, this sounds great, but I don't have the track record to justify these prices yet. Here's how to build that proof. Start with a lower price to win some jobs and get some results under your belt. Next project, double your price. Then the next project, double it again. Keep doing that until you start hearing no. If your close rate is consistently 100%, your prices are too low. I remember my first value-based pricing conversation. I was terrified. I had calculated that the system I was proposing for them would save them about $60,000 a year in labor, and I wanted to charge $6,000 for that system. But I kept thinking there's no way she's gonna go for this. So I almost quoted $2,000 instead. Would have been the same mistake that I had always made, underpricing because I was scared. But I forced myself to say the number, $6,000 for the complete system. And then I shut up. Didn't apologize, didn't justify, just waited. And the client just said, Okay, can you send me the invoice? And that's when I realized that I was the only one who thought that I wasn't worth it. The client cared about their problem being solved, not how many years I had been doing this. But here's what I learned. You don't need 50 case studies to start pricing based on value. You need one solid proof point and the ability to communicate ongoing value directly. Start with one proven case study. Even if it's something you built for your current employer or for a friend's business, document the before and after. Show the measurable impact. That is your proof. Here's exactly how to structure that first case study. Before state, client was spending 20 hours a week on manual data entry, costing them $4,000 per month. After state, automated system reduced this to 2 hours per week of oversight, saving $3,400 on your role. Built custom N8N connecting platforms, implemented error handling and notifications, and trained team on new process. The result, client recovered 18 hours a week and $40,800 annually, paid $3,000 for implementation. That's your proof. One for after, one for what you did, and one for the outcome. You don't need 10 of these, you just need one that you can talk about confidently. Then when you start charging monthly retainers, send monthly impact reports. Show call volume, leads contacted, time saved, money saved. You're constantly reinforcing your value and justifying that monthly investment. Here's what a monthly impact report looks like for that home service voice agent. December performance report. 47 leads contacted within 60 seconds. 33 qualified conversations, which is a 70% qualification rate, 29 appointments scheduled, 13 deals closed, estimated revenue impact $52,000, system uptime 99.8%. Recent optimizations, refined qualification questions based on close rate analysis, added weekend coverage for emergency requests. When the client sees that report and realizes that you helped them close $52,000 in deals, they're not questioning your $1,000 monthly fee. They're wondering if they should be paying you more. The key is positioning this as proactive system management, not maintenance. You're not just keeping things running, you're continuously optimizing for better results. And that's strategic partnership, not tech support. And here's the thing that most people don't realize. Charging more actually makes clients trust you more, not less. When you price yourself at $50 an hour, clients think, what's wrong with this person? When you price at $10,000 for a business transformation, they think, wow, this person must be really good. It's like wedding dresses. No bride wants a $200 wedding dress because she's afraid that it's gonna fall apart on the most important day of her life. She wants the $2,000 dress because she wants certainty and reliability. And your clients are the same way. They don't want the cheapest automation person. They want the person that's gonna deliver results and not disappear when problems arise. I see this play out constantly. When I was charging $1,500 for projects, clients would haggle, ask for discounts, question every detail. Can you do it for $1,200? If we cut this feature, now that I charge $3,000 to $8,000, clients do not haggle. They ask better questions. What's the timeline? What do you need from us? When can we get started? Higher prices attract better clients. Clients who value solutions over savings and who understand that cheap usually means bad. And here's the psychological truth. When somebody pays $10,000 for something, they make sure that it works. They're engaged. They provide feedback. They implement it properly. When somebody pays $500, they might just let it sit there and never use it. Your premium pricing actually ensures better outcomes because clients are invested in making it work. Now you know how to price based on value instead of hours. Command premium rates and justify those prices with confidence. You've seen the exact formulas that I use, the conversation frameworks that work, and how to build proof even if you're just starting out. The difference between charging $100 per hour and charging $8,000 for a business transformation is not your technical skill. It's your ability to diagnose valuable problems, quantify the impact of solving them, and position yourself as a strategic partner and not an hourly worker. This shift is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars over the next year. So stop selling your time and start selling business outcomes. But here's what most people still struggle with. They know how to price, but they don't know how to find clients that can actually afford these prices. If you want to land your first or next AI client, you can take part in the 4-week challenge inside my free school community of like-minded people, where you'll find a free course that's actually better than most paid courses out there, and you'll get direct one-on-one access to me for whatever questions that you might have. The link is down in the description. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.